Okay, so good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's Region Power Call. I'm really excited to bring you our topic this week, which is all around sponsoring, and I'm going to release an incentive at the end just for you guys, just for my central region, from me, all around sponsoring. And I really want to create excitement and momentum and movement around sponsoring. I'm such a believer that sponsoring, and I think anyone in network marketing will tell you who's successful, will say that sponsoring is the backbone to your business. So if you're not in big sponsoring, there's generally a crack in your belief somewhere. If you're not at that point where you're excited to share this business with everybody, that's because that is what makes you very successful. Selling product obviously is key, because you can't have a business of just sponsoring people without product being moved. And obviously our products are amazing, so I wouldn't be here in a business with a product that I didn't fully believe in and love, that I knew I could sell. But the business opportunity is just so exciting, and the company, the products matched with the business opportunity, to me is like a gold lotto ticket. And it's because I see it in such a way, I get so passionate about it. I can very, very easily recommend it to people, and very, very easily sponsor people. And there's like a bridge there that is so important. The faster you close that bridge and understand the energy and the level you need to be at, the faster your business will gain massive momentum that you won't even recognize it anymore. And it's such an exciting process to go through that. And it is a process, some people start with it. You hear of people going, Debbie Neal went nation in like 9 months or something. She started with it. And then you hear about people like, what's her name? It's just Linda Parker. I love her story. She took 8 years to go area. And then a few years later, she was a 5-wide national vice president. So, everyone's 8 years to area. Like, it took her that to bridge the gap. So everyone's journey is so different. And it's easy to say, you need to believe and you need to bridge the gap. And people go, yes, I believe, but it's not as simple. It's, we're so used to textbook learning today. And this is something that it really is, you only get it from hours in the game. You only get it from your reading, you only get it from sharing the business, and you only get it from the more you know, the more you grow, the more you learn. It's not something that someone can just say to you in one amazing training call and you're off. It's something that you have to really grind to find it. And it's like pressure makes diamonds, right? So when you put yourself in that situation, your mind unlocks and you become this diamond that starts to get it. And it's really exciting. But what I would love to do is start tonight's training call with one of my favorite videos that I start every day with. You guys are going to think I'm crazy, but this is something that I find is key to helping with my mind frame, to helping with my excitement and my why. It like reinforces my why and why I do it and everything like that. So what I'm going to do is share the screen, and I'm just going to play this video. So this video was one of the first Maui videos that came out when I first joined the business. And I have watched it so much ever since because it excites me so, so much. So without further ado, I'm just going to play it for y'all.
It feels incredible, and it also feels right, because this was one of the visions I had from the very beginning. And what I always heard was that if you worked consistently and you taught and train others, that you would be in Maui. And so that's what you do. You keep your head down, you work consistently, you're persistent, you have faith, and here you are, just like they told me.
Maui is such a beautiful island. It's just like a paradise. The colors are vivid, the people are friendly, the food is amazing, and sitting by the pool and networking and learning with your friends is really one of my favorite ways of doing business.
Welcome to Maui! Maui!
Aloha from Maui MVP 2015.
Great. Bye. Fluffing each other out. Sorry.
This is awesome. We're at work right now. It's so grueling. I mean, I actually had to sleep in a little bit, chilled with my friends, did a little strategizing. I mean, woo! Work is hard. Yeah, somebody's got to do it. We got it rough.
My sunblock works so great. I don't know if I got it tan. He didn't put it on. He got burned.
Yeah.
So great to have everybody coming on over to visit this rock in the middle of the ocean to celebrate each other, encourage each other, and grow together. I have goosebumps. I'm speechless. Like, this is just incredible. More than what I expected.
It all sounds way too good to be true, but it is true. Amazing. So I think just being here with the most amazing leaders and all the people we hear about and see about, just being able to talk to them and learn from them and take that back to our teams back in Australia. It's been absolutely amazing.
There's no opportunity like this any other time in the year, and to be around the top leaders within Arbonne is just a treat.
Aloha! Is this the sign?
Just aloha.
Can I do a Canadian aloha? Aloha, eh? Oi, oi, oi! 2, 3!
But I love coming here and seeing all the new NVPs and celebrating them.
You can actually recognize the new NDPs because they walk around like this with their mouth open.
I know. I have so many aha moments in just a couple days that I'm here.
I walk around with my notebook and I take notes.
I have 3 notebooks filled with tidbits that I've gotten from these amazing new MVPs. 38 new people came this year, which is just mind-blowing. It's double. Right. And each one of them so different, and from all the different countries, there's lots to learn.
From the time in the pool with the other NVPs, to the time in the elevator, to the time in training. I just want to breathe it all in so that I can come back next year with the team and they can feel as celebrated as we do.
Every single year I do Arbonne, my belief level goes up and up and up and up. I never think it could go any higher, but coming to Maui and being with these people, I'm just like, I just want you all here.
My belief cup is so full, and I can just tell you, if you don't believe it right now, borrow someone else's belief. Borrow my energy, borrow my belief.
Or you can borrow mine.
Oh, you can borrow yours? Because you can get to hang out with kids in Maui.
Absolutely, anybody can learn this. You know, this business is so simple because it just boils down to a decision. And when you really decide and you really set your sights on exactly what you want and you're willing to work hard, make no excuses, don't blame anybody, don't justify what's going right or wrong, just go build. It's all yours for the taking. It's there. So just get after it.
I'm here. It's all worth it. It's all worth it.
People are terrific. Business is great, and life is wonderful. Cheers!
Apollo, Arbonne, we love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So can you see why I love that video so much? I get so much out of that. Well, hang on, let me just stop sharing the screen. Okay, you still with me, guys? Hang on, we're on Maddie. There we go. Yeah, so I love every time I watch that video. The biggest thing I take away from that is 38 new NVPs promote. So that's, you know, yearly 38 national vice presidents, new national vice presidents come through. So, and I always, whenever I see that, I always think, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. And I get a little stab of FOMO, you know, like I'm missing out on something, you know, of creating that sort of lifestyle, and to be able to have that financial freedom and flexibility and time, and to be able to really mesh with the top leaders of Arbonne and to be able to take all of that stuff back. Oops, sorry, I'm just seeing the chat line now. I recognize that voice. Oh, whose voice was that? Debbie's? No, there was heaps.
No, I think it was Stuart Armfield's voice.
Stuart. Yeah, probably. He has such a distinct voice too. That was his first year as a nation. So he was there on his own that year. Yeah, he's brought many nations back since then, which is awesome. So what I wanted to talk about tonight is the difference between us and them is just a mindset thing. It's got nothing to do with where you live, who you're talking to, what's going on around you, or if you've got children and they don't have children, or you're working and they're not working. Everyone's busy and everyone's got stuff, you know. I'll just put my phone over, it's distracting me. Everyone's got stuff happening, but it's such a mindset thing, and it's about whether you see this as you're nagging people and you're sharing it because you want to grow your business, or whether you actually see this as a gift that you can't keep to yourself, and that and as an amazing opportunity that you want to give away. So something I think is really interesting that I've been pondering on, and I've been listening to trainings where I heard another national vice president mention this, is especially for girls, we you know, we grow up listening to fairy tales of a Prince Charming who comes in and saves the princess. She doesn't really have to do much, you know, she just waits patiently, and eventually something's going to happen and the princess will find that she's a good girl and he'll save her because she's a good girl, you know, she's worthy. And I think these, over time, you know, these fairy tales kind of make us gals a bit like, oh, we're just going to get rescued. You know what I mean? Like, instead of, because it's so easy for Cinderella to take what's in front of her, right? Instead of really looking inside and asking yourself what you wanted and then going out and making it become a reality for you. Like, I'm still waiting for that Walt Disney movie. That would be great, you know, of a girl who sits down and maps out what she wants and then goes out and creates it instead of waiting for Prince Charming to save her and give her the castle and far, far away. And I think ultimately the biggest thing missing in a lot of our learnings and a lot of our upbringings is how you are missing how much better it feels when you create the future that you wanted, you know, how much better that is than winning it or just getting lucky with something. You know what I mean? I think it's a huge thing, and I even pick it up in my daughter and the things that she says, and I pull her back and rewind it and make it about her going after what she wants and not expecting to be rescued. Basically, this rescue thing, and you even see it in movies now, even adult movies. There's that scene where the girl goes, "Oh, what do we do now?" And you know, the guy comes in and saves the day, and you know, it's very rarely us getting out and doing it. We're the nurturers. So I think it's a really cool era that we're coming into of women stepping into their power. You know, of women stepping up for what they want and creating that lifestyle that they want to create and going after it. So anyway, I'm getting off track, but I think sometimes as women, we don't ever stop and really think what it is that we really want. So I really want to ask you what it is that you really want from your life. I'd love you to just write that down. Write down, what do I really want from my life? Not to answer now, but to come back to later. Because I know, like for me, when I wrote that down, you know, all this stuff started to pour out of me that I'd never really gave a lot of thought to before about what I actually really wanted. I didn't want my husband working all these hours. I felt like he was unappreciated, and it made me sad to see that we were still struggling at the end of all of those efforts. I didn't want that. I wanted time freedom. I wanted to work with people that I loved. I wanted to see the whole world. And the more I started to tap into it, all these dreams that we have are slowly bashed out of us, you know, as we grow, and told you're probably not going to have that. And they're actually very expensive to travel. And well, that's just life, you know, it's hard, and that's just what it is. And you just sort of become more and more accustomed. Everybody's in debt and everybody's like this. And, you know, everyone's, thank God it's Friday, and hates Mondays, and it's just, you know, and I just thought, when I really thought about it, I thought, I don't want to feel sick on Sundays. I don't want to feel sick every Sunday because I've got to go do something I don't want to do, because I've got to pay bills I don't want to have, and, you know, all the rest of it. And the more I sat down and started to unfold, it's like, it felt like such an amazing release, and I loved writing that all out. So I really encourage you guys to do that, because when you really get in touch with what you want, you start to unfold that why that makes you bounce out of bed in the morning. Do you ever see people who bounce out of bed in the morning and you think, how do they do that? How do they have that energy? How are they so excited about sharing this business? It's because they're so in touch with that. And it's not, some people aren't just naturally in touch with that. You have to take time, and you have to listen to yourself, and you have to, you know, have, I suppose, a positive influence around you to encourage you to bring that out of yourself as well. Because Mike, that is something, the biggest thing I'm grateful to this business for is that it made me sit down and really face what I wanted in my life, and it made me drop my excuses and go for it. It made me I was surrounded by people who were no different to me, who were actually making that crazy list become a reality. And I could not kick that if they could, I could. I couldn't let it go. I kept thinking, what are they doing differently to me? Because they're obviously, it's the same thing, and they're just doing something differently. And I become obsessed. Have you heard that saying, be obsessed or be average? It's so true. People who become great at something, they go through a period where they're obsessed. You know, even a car, you know, you might like a new model of something out. You'll probably Google it every night time, you know, and just look at this new car because you're obsessed. It's the same. It's exactly the same thing. I become so obsessed with what they were doing, and I become so obsessed with making that become my lifestyle as well. And it completely changed my life. It completely changed my mindset. It changed how I saw myself. It changed how I seen the world. And it felt like someone took off these goggles I had on that were like this, and just completely opened up the most exciting, vibrant possibilities. I can't even explain it. It's just been amazing for me. And then from then on out, it, you know, it started to serve in the other ways. I was able to close my family daycare. I was able to be home with my kids. I was able to stop my husband working away. We were able to move back home where we always wanted to be. And all this stuff started to come out. I've been on 5 holidays internationally with the company since then. All these exciting things have started to come out. Now I really want to be in touch with giving back, and I have so many mission trips and things that I really want to do now. So when I think about when I go to share the business, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about all those things that it's done for me and how much I want to give that to somebody else. How excited I am to hand that over. I remember when we were at AAC one year down south, Nicole had not long had Alistair, her littlest fella, and she took out every award that they had at that AAC. She took out every category: top sponsoring, top central district, top central area. She took it the whole lot out. And the top 2, that every year they recognise the top 2 Australians who promoted the most direct district managers. And that year, Nicole got number 1 and I got number 2. It was amazing. And, you know, we were working so hand in hand in Mackay at the time. And it was such a life-changing moment, you know, to really realise that everything your leaders tell you is true, you know, that consistency and that like everything they say in that video, they say if you work your business consistently and you keep at it and you keep going, you'll be here, you'll come here. And it's not about going to Maui. I couldn't give a rat's where they are. It's what that means for your lifestyle. You know, if being at Maui is just a token of how many lives you've changed, of how many people you've helped believe in themselves and promote and grow in their business. Because no one gets to Maui just by sponsoring millions of people. They're sponsoring people who are changing their lives, who are promoting and becoming what they wanted to become through the business. That's, you know, I love this business because we only rise by lifting others. There's no other way. You can't go to the top stepping on people's heads in this business. You have to be rising people or it doesn't work. And I love that. It's something I get really passionate about. And something that excites me so much. And so my life changed through that business. One action after the other caused a massive ripple effect. That's what I was saying. So through me, it started with me. I didn't even know Nicole before when I said yes to the business. I knew no one. Sorry. Ow. Scratch me. But that time, day at AAC that I was just telling you about, when we went backstage, when we finished, her husband was there with her little boy, and she started crying. And she turned to me and she said, "Denny, what have you done to my life?" And she grabbed her little fella, and I just felt that was the first time I had such an overwhelming feeling of what I had given her. And if I had have been fearful and not offered her the business, she wouldn't have experienced any of that. You know, like what an amazing moment for a mum to have with her kids there watching, to be able to pave the way with that. You can do this. It was such a special moment. And I just can't, because I'm fear. Okay, I'll get to fear in a second because I'm skipping over all my notes because I'm getting excited. So I'll come back to fear and talk about that in a second, sorry. But yeah, that action causes such a ripple effect to help other people unlock their dreams, not just girls. Many men are in the business as well. But me being brave and unlocking my fears and dreams, I didn't realize would help others then do theirs as well. You know, like who knew 5 years ago that I would be presenting this training to you three tonight? I had no idea who you were then. It's just through people that, and you guys, obviously, whether you think you're a big dreamer or not, obviously you are, because there's a twinkle in your eye that sees that for you as well. And that's what attracts us to each other is you know, people who get it and people who want to help you rise and people you can see yourself rising with. And it takes effort and hard work. You know, it's not just believing and having the twinkle and off you go. It's like they said, it's that consistency and that constant effort. And I think really recognizing your passion, like I said, writing down what it is that you want and recognizing what your passion is, because that's what's going to give you that's what's going to make you drive. I was listening to, I can't remember her name now, to an executive national vice president today. And she's just created orphanages all around India. It was amazing. And she said to me, you know, after going there and seeing how hard these people had it, you know, the conditions that they were living in and the lack of education and all of that sort of stuff, she said the passion become this fuel in my it fueled the fire in my belly. She said when she came home, work was so fun. Like she just could not get enough of it. The more she offered, the bigger she grew. She knew the bigger she was able to help. So can you see how that's the key? Can you see how that, if you're coming from a place of, I just want to go district and I just want to get my words right so that I can promote and I want to get my money back from this and I want to invest in this and, opposed to coming from a place of you're just wanting to share something that could potentially change their life in such a big way. And for me, it took me a bit to get a grip on this. I'm not going to lie. It definitely took me a few months, probably even close to 12 months to, I think growing up in a very little country town, it felt very cheesy, as Beck would say, and it felt corny and weird to be like, I do this business for others. But the more you see, the more you plug in, the more you read, the more you show up, the more you see how that actually is, the more you see that other side. And especially when you start sponsoring, when you sponsor your first person in and they go district and you see the excitement that they've done it and you see that twinkle of, I can do anything, start to shine, there's no words for it. It's the most profound feeling. It's elaborating. It's just so exciting. And not to mention what it feels like to hand somebody their keys. That's just, you think it's great getting your keys? Wait till you give someone else their keys. It's just next level. It is just absolutely mind-blowing. So I just cannot stress enough, guys, to get your head around sponsoring in the right way. Really jump on SoundCloud. Donna Johnson has some great audios on sponsoring, to help you with that. Richard Bliss Broke has a great one called Authentic Sponsoring. Amazing about what kind of sponsor you want to be and the difference between the average and the great, how they're doing it so differently. Because some people are sponsoring hundreds a year. And then you've got the next person who feels like they're working just as hard, but they're not sponsoring any. So what's the gap? What's the difference? And it's in here. It's what you're generally believing when you ask, what you're generally pitching out there. Now, where am I up to today? Take the time to stop and ask yourself hard questions. What are you really proud of about yourself and what are you not so proud of about yourself? Where are you spending your time and money? Did you know your dreams do your dreams match your actions? Because that's a direct correlation to this, because all these things, right, is a reflection on your leadership and people are watching you all the time. You might not even realize it. You might project the business out there and someone says no, and then they join you 3 years later. And they could end up becoming a national vice president, or they could join you a couple months later, or they could not join you at all because they see that your actions don't match what you pitched to them. Do you know what I mean? It's and we undervalue that. We don't realize how much people pay attention. I had a really good friend of mine who ended up joining the business. She was amazing. She's amazing, I should say. But she watched me for so long. And when I reached out and asked her if she'd be interested in the business, she said to me, can you see that I'm stalking your Facebook? Is that why you're asking me? I said, no, have you been? And she goes, yeah, I've been stalking you for over 12 months. I'm so excited to see what you're up to. It took me 12 months. I was prejudging, thinking she's a dentist. She's not going to want to do this. She's already really successful in what she's doing and all this fear making it about me talk instead of what she could have been involved in for an extra 12 months and been that far ahead in her business. So I love the analogy of in this business, you need to make a big rubber butt because this business can be for everybody, but it's not for anyone, right? And people are going to say no, and you're probably going to hear no more than you hear yes. It's just a reality of it. If your belief is strong enough and you're sharing through love, it won't matter. Make a big rubber butt and learn to bounce back. You need a big rubber butt in this business because you're going to fall, but what's important is getting back up. And the more you get back up, the stronger your leadership skills are, the bigger the quality of people you can sponsor from there. Does that make sense? There's something we say in Arbonne, which is called sponsoring up, because sometimes in the beginning, we only ask the people we're not worried about what they think of us, which is generally because they're not at the quality that's going to become a national vice president, right? The people who would be amazing make you just crap your pants at the idea of reaching out to them and asking them to join you of what they might think. And it's putting your reputation on the line a little bit. You're not to do that. So you stay in your safe zone with the people that, you know, you're not really concerned too much what they're going to think. I remember listening to a training once with Cecilia Stoll, and she said, have you really asked everyone, or have you just asked everyone you're comfortable to ask? And it's so true, you know, often the more you fall and get back up, the better you get with your wording, the more you start to attract those that are going to make a big, huge difference in your business. Keep going when others quit. You might not see yourself as a dreamer, as I said before, but believe me that you are, and you're surrounded by people who are going to encourage your dreams. So plug in. And oh my goodness, if I told you guys how many times I pulled back, gave up, took the vision board down, put it back up, you know, it's a journey, and it's, you know, you're not going to create financial freedom and all that comes with it. If it was easy, it'd be sleazy. You know, it's going to challenge you, and that's what makes it so glorious at the end. You know, I love how Jim Rohn says, don't wish it was easy, I wish you were better. It's so true. And when you get, he also says, don't become a millionaire for the money. Do it for the person it will make you be at the end. You know, Jim Rohn became a millionaire and lost all his millions. He lost $3 million in 12 months and went broke after becoming super successful. But he said, guess what? I knew what to do, so I just did it again. Because he learned in that 3 months what he needed to do. Next time he did it, he didn't lose his millions. But he'd already learned how to become a millionaire. It's a process. It's a way of thinking. You know, it's not just a big step that you're going to do tomorrow that's going to make a significant difference. It's the compound effects of all these little steps over time, mixed with a strong mindset, mixed with that discipline and the consistency and being dedicated to learning. It's all the little wins at home that no one sees. You know, it's so true that the football team doesn't win on the day that they actually won. The winning's done like in the locker room, at the training days, you know, at all them times that they showed up when they were stuffed. That's when they won. That was what made them win. And it's the same in your Arbonne business. Every time you open your mouth and offer the business to someone, you're winning. Every time you book a product presentation and follow it up and, you know, do it and follow up with your prospects and do all of your business stuff, you're winning. And it's every little thing over time. It's not just finding that one gun who's going to change your business. It's literally the compound effect of all those little things. So what are you thinking? I really want to ask you guys to ask yourself what you're thinking when you're out sponsoring. Really stop and once again, I want you to write that down, not now, but just make a note of that. And to ask yourself if you're thinking, if you're bugging them, or if you're dreaming big. Are you playing big? Because if you're wondering if you're bugging them, that's a very small mind frame of thinking. You haven't got a grip on the big picture here, you know, or you've got a grip on district manager. That's, you know what I mean? That's that sort of mentality. If you want that grip on 10 wide national vice president, then you're finding nations, you know, and when you're finding nations, your belief of the business, the company, the products is through the roof, that people are drawn to your passion and to your excitement and to your energy. You know, I think like, you see Cass House, for example. Can you imagine if someone said to her, no, network marketing doesn't work and I don't really support it? Do you think it would affect her at all? Do you think that she's always been like that? Or do you, like, this is the thing that I find so amazing about this woman. When I started my business, Cass was an area manager qual. She was no different than she is right now. I would have sworn she was an ENVP 10 wide. She had that about her. That's why she went so fast. She was like, what, you want to bet against me? I dare ya. Good luck. You know, like, you will lose your money. Yeah, like, you have to be that. She's like, I am changing lives. I remember her saying to me, I can't sleep, I'm changing lives. I was like, she's kind of crazy. But she was onto it, you know. 12 months later, I'm an area manager and she's a 2-wide national vice president. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, hang on a minute. Maybe I'm not thinking right. And it's exciting to recognize that, isn't it? You know, to recognize that it's not about working harder, guys. It's about working smarter, and it's about coming from a place of love, coming from a place where you're authentically you, unforgivably yourself. You know, have a laugh, have a joke, make a mistake, but share with love, share with so much vision and excitement of what you want to do. Who are the other guys? Oh, national vice presidents. I'll do a post. Hang on, Maddie. I'll make a note here, and I'll do a post up of NVPs to follow, sorry. So I'll come back to that later for you. Okay, I love this. This is something I took a note of today and I wrote it down because I thought it was so true. When you're offering the business, are you thinking about the legacy that you're going to leave behind with yours? How cool is that? You know, like, it's not just like, when I think of that, my mind just blows up so huge of the legacy I'm going to leave behind of people in 50 years time talking about how Denny Lease ran her business like this and why that worked, and how she had orphanages here and she did mission trips there, and you know, like, that's like, wow. And when I start to think like that, I can't sit still, you know, like, and that, it doesn't matter what you say, it's how you say it, you know, because of course you're going to say the wrong thing. Of course you're going to talk too much or too little. It's inevitable that you're going to go through that in the business. If I had $1 for every business appointment I will come home to Jared for, and I was like, I couldn't have stuffed it anymore. I don't know, 1 minute I was talking about Eric Worre, then I was jumping over to talking about these events that they needed to go to, and then I was jumping over and telling them they needed to read personal development every day and have a system and a strategy, and I just totally overwhelmed the poor girl, like totally overwhelmed her, that when I left I was like, oh gosh, but guess what? They ring you back because they're like, I don't know what Denny's on about, but she's passionate, she's excited, and she's fully believing that she's going to create something big. I'm watching that space. You know, if you're like, oh, it's just this little thing I'm doing, I'm just going to kind of see how it goes and play it out. And I'd love to show you sometimes. You might not be interested though. I can understand if you're not. Please don't feel any pressure. Don't feel any pressure from me, because I don't want you to think that I'm trying to sign you up or anything. I'm not, you know, but just like, no one's going to follow someone who doesn't know where they're going. You've got to be like proud of what you have and believing in it and seeing the big picture for people to be captivated by it. And say, I've got to watch Maddie. I've got to see where she's going, because she just blew me away. She's going big. And if someone said, do you reckon, Matt, if when you leave and that you want the people left behind, if one says, do you think Beck will do well in this? The other one will go, yeah. Did you hear her? She's like going to the top. Like that's the impression that you have to leave on people. Hang on, I'm just having a drink. Okay. So why do you want a huge Arbonne business? Why? Obviously, the bigger you want it, the bigger the work you need to do, and the more you need to do. Cecilia Stoll did a training once, and she said it was at Maui, because Cecilia Stoll is 12 national vice presidents wide, right? So she has a humongous organization. The biggest, she's the #1 income earner in all of Arbonne. Very inspiring lady. And Google her, guys. You know, check out her videos. Check out her Discover Arbonne is amazing, the way she presents it. But she had a piece of paper in front of her. I can't remember the exact, I'm trying to remember exactly how it was told. But basically everybody said to Cecilia, what is the thing that you're doing? We want to know what you're doing to make your business so massive. And she wrote one word on the piece of paper and she flipped it over and it said more. She goes, I'm doing what you're all doing. I'm just doing more. And I stopped and thought about, reflected on that, because it's so true. It's those little, you know, listening to John C. Maxwell lately, something he said that really stuck out to me is when you're prepping yourself for what it is that you want to achieve, or when you're prepping yourself for your goals, or you're going into the activity, when you think you're done, double it. He goes, that is the key to becoming a millionaire. That is the key to entering the part of the race where no one's running anymore. You're on your own now. You're in a whole new section. How inspiring is that? You know, if you're getting ready for a product presentation and you're thinking in your head, I'm just going to watch a Tile and I design on how they present it. I'm going to read over my script tonight, and then I'll be done and ready to rock. So John C. Maxwell's theory is double that. You're going to watch that video twice, and you're going to present that script to yourself twice, and then you're going to go to bed. And it's, you know, it's not big, massive stuff, but it's just, imagine the significance of doing what you think you need to do ×2 over 12 months. Can you imagine if you had done that last year, what you'd look like this year? It's incredible, right? Instead of watching one SoundCloud today, I'm going to watch 2 because I've got a launch on the weekend and I want to rock it. Or I've got a business appointment on the weekend. I was going to watch a DA tonight. I'm going to watch 2 DAs, 2 separate DAs, because I'm going to bring this home. Whatever it might be. Generally, you need to do more. The bigger the vision, the more that we need to do to make it happening. And obviously when sponsoring is up, elevations are up. I loved on that call the other night, they shared that for the two girls who have gone into Region Qual, shared that over their team, they sponsored 47 was one and 41 I think was the other. So between 40 and 50 independent consultants and preferred clients, that's both, into their entire organisation. So they were popping out first step area managers, they were popping out district managers, all sorts of elevations were happening at that time, which is so exciting. So we all know that when sponsoring's up, promotions are up. So I was doing a training with Valerie Edwards and she said, I want you to ask yourself why you're not sponsoring where you want to be sponsored, at the level you want to be sponsoring at. Why is it? And she said these are the top 4 answers that she got that people said back. The first one was they were too busy to be out sponsoring. The second one was they didn't know what to say. The third one was that they didn't want to ask. And the fourth one was prejudging, assuming they didn't know anyone who needed it. Isn't that insane? And then she said to the fourth one, the prejudging is a huge one because we all do it, right? We've all got so many people that we haven't asked yet because we assume that they don't want it. And she said, okay, just off the top of your head right now, can you think of people who might need more money? Can you think of people who have mentioned that they would love to travel more or who would just love to do more family holidays? Can you think, this was a big one, she said, can you think of people who've said to you that they want to adopt or do IVF? Because when she said that, it kind of, I stopped for a second and thought, I know about 4 girls who've mentioned that to me, but they can't afford it. You know, and it's like fear really wraps us up and can actually potentially make us quite selfish that we wouldn't share something that could help them do that, you know. And I can't stress enough, I'm such a country girl, on how cliche that sounds, but guys, it's so true. It's just the reality of it. When you come from a place of love and you come from a place of, I love how Sarah Dunning says, I ask myself what my intentions are, and if they're pure and true, then if there's a bad reaction, that's their stuff. That's not my stuff. And I love that. It's so true, you know. Sarah Dunning also has an amazing story. She went to DA's every month. She drove 2 hours to her DA, never missed one for 12 months, never sponsored anyone for 12 months. Sometimes people come with her, sometimes they didn't. 12 months in, she went district. Now she's about to promote out her 7th National Vice President direct to her, wide. She's the #1 income earner in the UK. How insane is that? How many people have you heard say that they would love to go on a mission trip through their church, or that they'd love to help others here, or donate to that charity, or have charities that touch their hearts, etc., etc. I love, Beck and Rach aren't in the group that Amy shared in today, how she was going through the Woolworths checkout and the lady there was commenting on how her roommate has a bub and lives at home, and Amy just mentioned what she does for work and said, I've actually got a great business for mummies at home. Is she looking for anything? And she's like, yeah, she is actually. And they exchanged details for Amy to get in touch with her. When we actually open our mouths, because this is our business, this here. So how well you present it, how much it's open is a direct correlation to what your business looks like, right? That's it. That's the bottom line. If we're living in the prison of fear and so worried about what other people think of us, we're never going to open our business, and we're never going to allow the amazing things this business can do to actually unravel and to start happening. When you talk to these people about Arbonne, so when you do talk to people about your Arbonne business, you want to be showing them the real and honest and authentic you. If you haven't done your 60-second story yet, that's the first thing you need to perfect. You need to perfect, and that needs to be said all the time. Valerie Edwards says 30 to 40 people a month need to hear that. You need to be presenting that to. What do? Are you ready to tell them what you do with confidence that it just flows? Because, you know, like I said, that hesitant, bumpy person, people aren't going to join you yet. You've got to be confident and own it and have it flowing. I love this saying too, guys. This is just a random quote that I wanted to put in. Don't bench your best player in life, which is yourself. And so often we do. We bench ourselves out of the whole game, and we're the best player that we have. So train hard. You know, how hard is your preseason? How much are you winning when no one's looking? Because that's what's going to lead you to win when everybody's looking. Don't let your small mind get in the way of what you were made to do. Your doubts that you have right now will be projecting onto your team and also onto your prospects. So what are you doing to strengthen that? What are you doing to get a grip on those doubts? When we prejudge, we do ourselves and our future team a huge disservice. You don't know what they pray about at night. I love that. Imagine if you really knew what was going on in their life and that you could provide the opportunity that their heart desires. This is worth fighting for and getting over ourselves for. Leave your ego at the door. Some of the people I have sponsored, so many would ask me why I even asked them. You know, so all the time people would say to me, I can't believe you even asked them. Mum would say to me all the time, did you ask them? But they have a successful business. I'm like, yeah, but they're never home, ever. What did you ask her? She's just traveling the world. But I'm like, yeah, but maybe she wants something more steady and she wants something stable. You just don't know. Ow! Boomer, go away. My cat's biting my feet. Go away. Crazy cat. Where am I up to? So don't be afraid to share this with people, guys. You can't live and work in a fear-based mentality. It's a cage. Faith ultimately sets us free. Live in a place of unconditional love. Fear will keep you focused on yourself and your ego will own you. And we can all relate to that, right? You've got to, which brings me to our book that I'm going to, actually, no, not just yet. Imagine meeting people and helping through the eyes of love and not fear. So every time you met somebody, if you had no fear at all, how many times do you think you would have offered this business already? If you had no fear, if you were just purely coming from a place of love, you'd be offering it all the time, right? So it's really stepping into that zone. Love will give you laser focus on what is important. It makes you so passionate, and your passion alone is what people will get involved for. I just can't stress enough either, guys, that I'm nothing special. There's nothing I have that you don't have. In the beginning, I had to borrow the belief, like you might need to as well when you start your business, because it's very rare that you start with this massive belief. Like I said before, some people do, but generally it's like a muscle that you've got to flex it every day to build it strong, right? You can't do 4 push-ups and have abs. You've got to work on this. You've got to work on your confidence. You've got to work on your belief. And that's why I just cannot stress personal development enough. If you're not reading every day, you're nowhere near nation quality. Nowhere near. You can't lead a pack of hundreds and hundreds of people to making their goals and dreams become a reality if you're not growing yourself as the leader that they deserve, you know? And that's when you do read every day, you become so addicted to it that you just naturally start to come from a place of love. You're so inspired, you're so passionate, and you start to become so giving. Because that's another thing. I remember starting my business and hearing others say, I did this business to help other people change their lives. And I was like, I felt really selfish, like there was something wrong with me, because I just started for me, 100%. I just wanted money. I wanted my husband home, and I wanted more time, and I wanted to travel the world, and it was all about me. I can 100% own that. The more I went on this journey with myself, the more I started to change, and the more, The Secret. I love The Secret. Amazing book. I read it every day for like 2 years. I haven't read The Power.
This one is so good. The one of it says, this one is actually very cool. Do you want me to share?
Yes.
It says, hatred paralyzes life, love realizes it. Hatred confuses life, love harmonizes it. Hatred darkens life, love illuminates it. So cool. It's just such a good book. You should definitely get it.
I will definitely get it. I love what I love about Rhonda Bryn is she always comes back to love is the key. Love is the ultimate key to living that fulfilled life, and just coming from a place of love. Always, if I'm nervous before I get up and talk, I just stop and just think, I'm thinking about myself, and I've got something valuable that I'm going to deliver to these people, and just come from a place of love for them. You know, it's just getting a grip on that and really reprioritizing what you're thinking, and take you from number 1 and drop it down to like number 10.
Yeah. I know, I feel so selfish.
But it's what we naturally do. You know, it's how we were, you know, we're not perfect. It's what we naturally put ourselves. Nearly everybody I know is, I often say to people, don't be too worried about what other people think of you, because most people can't think past themselves for long enough to even be worried about what you're doing or what you offered them last week. So don't get caught up on that. Everyone's caught up on themselves. So it's so true. And it's when you start to notice that and differ from the crowd, you will stand out like you wouldn't believe. People are attracted to people who are generally authentically loving. You know, generally.
And that, what's his name? The Dale Carnegie book, where he was like, you know, everyone wants to talk about themselves and they'll think that you're the best. They'll think that you are so interesting because you just listen to them because they get to talk. Like, I'm like, wow, it's kind of true.
So true. It's so true. I remember once I was having a business appointment with a lady, and they say in a business appointment, you should talk 10% of the time and they should talk 90. So how often are you talking? This is the place where they need to tell their dreams. They need to talk themselves into it, not you. You're just telling some facts and some stories. They're talking about how it's going to fit into their lifestyle, what they want to achieve from it, what they want to do, what they can give it. You know, I remember one lady, she goes, oh my goodness, I feel like I've spoken so much. No one's ever asked me what I actually wanted before, and then sat back and listened. And I said, oh, isn't that amazing? Like, it's so true. And I love this too, you know, just on a side note, because sometimes we think that we need to be ready to rock before we can sponsor, right? And we need to be in an educated mind frame about the ins and outs of network marketing and the ins and outs of Barbon. And I think it's so true that whatever aspect of life you're talking about, like no one starts qualified and ready. No one, except for a heart surgeon. But in general, you know, you start to learn when you start. That's the most key thing. And it made me think of this. This is a saying that I have written up in my house because I love it. And I wanted to mention it tonight. It said, God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Every time I stop and read that, I feel empowered to know that I'm getting more and more qualified because I was called. Like, do you guys feel, I generally feel that this is where I'm meant to be. I love this business and I love what it does for others, and I feel like I'm exactly where I was created to be. You know, as crazy as that sounds, that's how I feel in my heart of hearts. So it's no surprise that I'm attracting people coming into my business with trust and love, and you know what I mean, that they're ready to rock out and that those walls come down, because I feel so proud of it, and I feel like I'm getting more and more equipped every day for who you guys need me to be. Because what am I up to? And I think to myself, when I look at my business and I want to build my business, I'm thinking to myself, if I build more, I can have more, I can do more, and I can give more, I can be more, you know. And all of that, when I start my day in that mind frame, I can't go to a play group at a park and someone mention that they're struggling in an area of their life. I can't not bring Arbonne up. I'm too excited about it and how much it can potentially help them. Okay, far out, I'm going way over time. Is that okay? Because I'm to just keep on going. But yeah, let me know if you need me to wrap it. I'm halfway through my notes. I've got so much exciting stuff I wanted to talk about. Fear will ultimately keep you from going all in. You have to be so on fire with so much belief that this is the most amazing business out there. Do you believe this is where you're meant to be? This company and this journey you're on is meant to be. Have complete faith. When you climb, that faith that you'll go out on a limb for, that you'll, you know, I love that saying, to walk on water, you have to get out of the boat. It's so true. You have to take a risk, you have to take a gamble, and you have to jump. I've already spoken about all that. This is why I'm halfway through my notes, because I've already said half the stuff coming up ahead. Yeah, I've already said all of this. I just want to touch again on that prejudging. It's so important to not prejudge. I love this little experiment. You know, if I said to you, Maddie, Beck, or Rachel, to write down, Denny, if you really knew me, you would know that, ... right? If you wrote that down and then you finished the rest, is it, you know, I don't know if I'm giving this exercise justice to how it was when I did it myself, but I started to write down my deepest core values and the deepest things about me that people just don't know. And I thought the outside world would just not prejudge that about me. So how can I prejudge others in what they've actually got going on and who they actually truly are and what they actually truly want? It's such a powerful thing to think about, guys. I can't stress that enough. People are like onions, and this business is, when you're prospecting, you're peeling away the onion layers to get into who you're actually working with, and to really help people unlock themselves past those layers as well. And that's the part I love about it the most. You get amazing skin and you feel great on the way, but this is a personal development business wrapped around a beautiful product, 110%. If you don't have a full calendar, guys, where am I up to down here? Having that full calendar, like I was saying earlier, how our actions need to reflect our dreams, right? Into where we're investing time and what we're saying to ourselves, and the itty bitty shitty committee can start to justify why we're actually not in line with what we want to be in line with. And there are so many things, hosting one-on-one events is a great way to start building up that full calendar. Sponsoring is everything. I can't stress that enough. You don't want to go out looking for PCs. You want to be looking for consultants. You want to present a product presentation with your number one focus to be consultants. You want to build a huge business, right? And I know that that's not everybody. I know some people want to earn free products and pay their mortgage, and that's fine. I love those people too. I love and respect everyone for exactly what they want from their business. But I'm talking to the people who want a massive business, and I know that that's you guys on the screen right now, because I know what you want. You've all told me what you're here for. I know what you want to create and what you want to build, and I know that you're so capable of doing it. So capable. And it all starts with that action after action, with that consistency, and hosting those events that start to build up that full calendar and start to really create that big exciting thing. It's such a numbers game, guys. If you don't have a team or anyone prospecting, then that is your number one priority. Your number one priority is to learn how to build a team, is prospecting. There's a training Eric Worre does on finding prospects, because once again, it's a skill, and offering it and getting it out there. But you're not going to offer the business if your mindset's not right about the business, which is what I really wanted to focus in on our training today. Create conversations in every conversation in your life. It's not hard, it's consistency. Practicing a 60-second story until it flows freely. Always get their contact information to follow up. Such a key. I haven't had business cards in yonks. They don't work. You hand them out, they lose them, they lose the excitement from the park. I always add them on Facebook because I know for sure I'm going to follow up with them. I don't know if they're going to follow up with me, but I am absolutely going to follow up with them. Success isn't sexy, it's sweaty. Success isn't glamorous, it's gritty. Look at sponsoring as a way to give back. All we have to do is find their compelling why. Inspire others, to build a bigger dream. Put seeds in someone else's life that can potentially change thousands of lives. It's amazing how the duplication of one person getting in touch with their dreams, it's like an explosion that goes, and everyone around them that gets touched from that explosion starts to unlock their dreams. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's so true. We live in a world today where we're told to stop dreaming. We're told that that's unrealistic. It's not going to happen. You're not going to have that. You can't create that. No one has that. This is normal. And it's not. It's so not. So when you start to dream big, I can't stress enough how much you'll start to stand out. And every person who can see that, it's like, everyone wears a sign around their neck every day, whether you're aware of it or not. And your sign either says, I'm a big dreamer, I'm going for my goals, ask me for anything and I'll help you. Or it says, don't talk to me, I'm pissed off today, I got out on the wrong side of the bed, I don't know where I'm going, I'm never consistent. They all say something. You can picture the ladies that you see at kids drop off, or the mums dropping their kids off. Their sign, right? It's very obvious. So what does your sign say? Because if your sign says, I dream so big and encourage you to as well, when people see that, they start thinking about their dreams. Do you know what I mean? And that's done with your face. When the best actors in the world can't hide what they're about. If you're generally about yourself, people can see that. If you're generally about others, people can see that. If you're generally a big dreamer, people can see that. So unlock that about yourself. Be a big dreamer and come from an authentic place of love. That is a national vice president. That is someone who truly changes lives and gives back and creates a legacy, So I wanted to remind everybody in closing, I wrapped it up pretty quickly, the last couple of pages of notes, because I'd already said it all. I get so passionate about this, guys. I hope you've enjoyed learning a bit about sponsoring. In closing, I want to really encourage anyone who hasn't listened to last week's Nation Call in iDesign, where we heard from area managers who'd gone into qual, bonusing district managers and first step regions. Find that call and listen to it. It's one of the best calls I've listened to in a long time. It is amazing. Check it out. You'll get so many gems in there. I would love to start a book that we read together, and on the first Monday of every month when we do come for our training call, to talk about you know, that book that we just read, to do reflections on that or talk about it along the way. And this month, I don't know if you guys might have already read it yet or not. I haven't read it yet, and it was recommended by an ENVP in a boot camp I did with Cass House not long ago. Where's my audiobook? There it is. It's called, come in, Ego is the Enemy, and it's written by Ryan Holiday. So I haven't started it yet. I got it and I haven't got to it yet, but I'm going to start it tomorrow. So I'm just having mine as my car audio. Whether you want to do it as that or buy it, I don't know, but I cannot recommend it enough. It's so fun to do it together. It holds some accountability too. When you know everyone else is reading it, you want to stay with everyone else and move with everybody else. It's not hard, guys. You know, you'll blow your mind if you have the Audible app. It's an amazing app. I can't recommend it enough. So worth it. I listen to it in the car all the time on pickups and drop-offs, and every day I listen to at least half an hour. That a 6-hour audiobook is done by the end of the week. It's insane. If I had that book on my nightstand, it would take me a month. So it's really good. Who's the author? Ryan Holiday is his name. It's a blue cover. Ego is the Enemy. So that's going to be our book for this month. We're already a week in, so we'll have to catch up a bit on that. But yeah, I'm excited to read that. I can't reflect on it because I haven't read it yet. But I think ego is a big thing that we need to drop and understand is the enemy in terms to really sponsor and create the vision and the business that we want to create. How did everyone go with social media module 2? Good. Building your brand. I love that, and finding your 5 things. How did you guys feel with that? Good. Awesome. I've been keeping an eye out for your posts to try to work out what your 5 things are. If you were on the call tonight, or if you're watching the recording, I would love you to do a post into our Nation to Be page tomorrow, and just put your 5 things. You know, just put loved module 2, what you loved most about it, your number 1 takeaway thing, and your 5 things that you're going to rotate between on your social media to build your brand. I'll post mine tomorrow as well if you like. I'll write a note of that too. Post 5 things. The other housekeeping that I wanted to go over is the sponsoring incentive. I'm so excited for this. So I would love to, with sponsoring being the theme of tonight's training, obviously, and I really want it to be the theme of the month, is really bringing home big sponsoring, because I know that that is the blood of your business, right? It's the backbone. For anyone who sponsors 10 new people, preferred clients and consultants, I can't stress enough that you look for consultants and preferred clients come. If you look for preferred clients, you won't find consultants, okay? If you're just sharing skincare and nutrition, but you're not sharing business opportunity, you're not going to find business people. People join you because they were asked to, hands down, no other reason. So with that in mind, if you sponsor 10 preferred clients or consultants with 150 PQV, I will buy your leadership retreat ticket for you as a gift from me to you on an amazing November. I would love to do that. I'm so excited about that. So when you break down 10, right? So let's put something in my eyeball. It's driving me insane. I love how they were talking about in a training I did today. She was talking about the consistency and the simplicity of it. And when we hear 30 faces a day, 30 to 40 faces a month, you break that down and it's just over 1 a day. It's not even 2 a day. So to tell you, that takes 2 minutes to tell your 60-second story to that many. Sponsoring 10 a month isn't even 3 a week out of that. Can you see how much that grows in consistency? But what happens is we ask 3 people and then don't ask again for 3 weeks. You know, like, it's Having that consistency is a key part of it, guys. So really get your calendar full. Fill it up with those one-on-ones, those product presentations. Have your vision so big. The personal power hour that Cass runs in her multi-nation, in the iDesign training page is phenomenal. If you're not fully equipped with how to run a personal power hour and start your day strong, I cannot recommend that you jump on that enough. The feedback from the girls who are doing that is next level. They're saying their lives are completely changed. It's amazing just from starting your day in the right frame of mind. And I just cannot stress enough to have leadership retreat on your agenda. Cass has 2 incredible speakers coming in. It's in an amazing venue. $200 a ticket is so cheap. We pay that to go to a rock concert. Who would not pay that for 2 days of intense training that won't only help your Arbonne business? Trust me when I say it will help every aspect of your life. You're going to hear from the biggest dreamers ever, who are going to tell you to dream so big and how to make those dreams become a reality. And what the biggest thing I love from Leadership Retreat, where it is different from AAC, is you really hear people's stories. You hear people's stories from struggle to strength, and then you get to meet that person and have a drink with them and have a chat with them. It's so personal. You can generally talk about where you're at in your business, where you're struggling, and hear reflections on that. It is amazing, and I cannot stress enough that it's where you want to be. So have Sponsor 10 all around your house to earn Leadership Retreat for free. I'm so pumped for that. At the end of November, I want to book accommodation in for who's coming to AAC so we can have that sorted out, and obviously have a bit of room there so that whoever we sponsor in December can come. Leadership Retreat's going to be massive. We're going to be a huge chunk of that, guys, and I'm going to be so proud to represent you guys there, and you are going to love it. I cannot stress it enough. So make sure it's a priority. Make sure you've got the dates cleared and that you're going to come to that, because you will be so, so glad that you did. That's it from me. Who's earning their Leadership Retreat ticket? Say yes in capital letters and a million exclamation marks. And I am here to back you every step of the way. So reach out to me if you need help with any of that at all. Thank you so much for plugging in tonight, and I will talk to you all soon.